Have you ever noticed that the biggest transformations in your life often happen when you're alone? When you stop chasing attention, when the group chats finally go quiet, when you start sitting with your thoughts instead of running from them. That's where real growth begins. It's not in the noise of the world, but in the profound silence of your own mind. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of leveling up alone, exploring why solitude isn't about loneliness, but is actually one of the most powerful tools you have for self-evolution. Humans are social creatures. It's just how we're built. Our brains are hardwired for connection. In fact, psychologists have found that even brief periods of social isolation can activate the very same brain regions linked to physical pain. That's why being alone can literally hurt at first. Your brain signals that something is fundamentally wrong, but this is exactly where most people get stuck. They confuse solitude with loneliness. Loneliness is the deep emotional pain of feeling disconnected. Solitude, on the other hand, is the intentional choice to be with yourself. It's not because you've been rejected, but because you're actively rebuilding from the ground up. Studies in personality psychology show that choosing solitude can dramatically enhance your self-regulation, focus, and emotional intelligence. When you finally stop reacting to everyone else's noise, you can at last start to hear your own voice. Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on the growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and effort, gives us a crucial insight here. The people who truly level up on their own aren't necessarily more gifted or luckier than anyone else. They simply use solitude as their personal laboratory for change. Think about it. When you're alone, you are completely free from the pressure of comparison. You can fail privately, experiment quietly, and reflect with total honesty. This is the fertile ground where self-awareness flourishes, through a cycle of trial, error, and deep reflection. Neuroscience even backs this up. Solitude increases activity in what's known as the default mode network, the part of your brain responsible for introspection, creativity, and memory consolidation. It's the space where new ideas connect and your personal identity evolves. So when you choose to isolate yourself for growth, you're not pulling away from the world. Instead, you're recalibrating your mind to navigate it more effectively, with more purpose and clarity than ever before. If you've ever gone through a period of deliberate isolation, you've probably felt these distinct stages. First comes phase 1, discomfort. You feel restless, bored, maybe even a little lost. This is your brain detoxing from the constant stimulation it's used to. Stick with it because next is phase 2, clarity. Suddenly you start noticing patterns in your habits, your thoughts, your emotional responses. You begin asking yourself deeper, more meaningful questions like, what do I actually want out of life? And finally, you enter phase 3, transformation. You no longer need external validation to feel worthy. You find genuine peace in your own presence. Your actions become deliberate and intentional. Each of these phases works to rewire your identity, quietly forging you into someone new without you ever needing to announce it to the world. So what exactly is happening inside your mind when you embrace solitude? The psychological benefits are profound. First, you gain increased self-control. Studies show that people who spend mindful time alone have much stronger impulse regulation. Second, your creativity soars. Without constant external input, your brain is free to connect ideas in novel and surprising ways. Third, you achieve greater emotional stability. Solitude gives your nervous system a much-needed break. It lowers cortisol levels and helps you reset emotionally. And finally, your identity develops. You learn to define yourself by your core values, not by the fleeting approval of others. In short, solitude trains your mind in the same way the gym trains your body. It's not always easy. It requires repetition, discomfort, and discipline, but the end result is undeniable strength. If you feel like you're in a quiet season right now, here's how to make it incredibly powerful. First, disconnect with intention. Don't isolate yourself out of pain. Isolate with a clear purpose. Use that silence to reflect and build, not to escape. Second, feed your mind. Read books, learn new skills, and listen to things that expand your perspective. The inputs you choose today will shape the person you become tomorrow. Third, stay consistent. Build positive habits that align with who you want to be, especially when no one is watching. That's when it matters most. And finally, embrace the solitude. See it not as a punishment, but as preparation. Always remember this: you level up in private long before the world ever gets to see the results in public. So if you feel like you're walking this path alone right now, know that it's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It means you're in the middle of becoming. The psychology of leveling up alone is simple. Silence builds clarity, and clarity builds power. Be patient with your season of solitude, because when it's over, you will walk back into the world completely transformed. Thanks for watching. And if this resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content on personal growth.